from beginning. Please.
Sorry, apologies again for the technical glitch. So once again, I thank everyone. And any organization, I guess the backbone is its members. And today I would like to introduce our executive committee as well as the representatives, the overseas representative, and the Zakat and IT subcommittee. Are my words clear? If someone can show a hand, whether there is an echo. Okay, thank you. So obviously, as you can see, I'm the president. There isn't much to say about myself. We have Bushra Khanum, who is the vice president. She's holidaying in Fiji, I believe, at the moment, having good times. Zafreen Ahmed, our secretary, a general secretary, and she has established some fantastic network in Bangladesh in terms of the fundraising. And those of you who would see her secretary's report, you would see that she generally does a very brilliant job. Next, we have Nick, Mr. Murphy, I call him, with all respect. And the story of Nick is quite interesting. He found Fred High School in, I believe, 2009. And he actually donated quite a bit of money. The next person is Zahid Ali Khan. He's the honorable treasurer who has done a brilliant job, without whose help many receipts wouldn't have been issued. He has done receipts on a daily basis. Thank you, Zahid. Shafi, or Shamsuddin Shafi, a past president of Let's Work for Bangladesh. He has contributed significantly in terms of the Cockington Green project with the Bangladesh Parliament House. And to me, more importantly, he has actually taken the very hard work of PayPal, through which I think this financial year we have raised more than $5,000. So thank you, Shafi. And today he is at the back with another computer screen allowing the members in. So thank you, Shafi. The next we have the past.
We can't see the slide. I think you need to go to the next slide.
Can you see this screen with the executive committee and representatives?
No, you need to go to that slide. You need to keep the slides moving.
Yeah. Is it in this slide? Can you see the executive committee representatives?
Yeah, but you're not on the display. What you need is to share the screen.
We are seeing the slide pack, but it's on slide 1.
Sorry.
And then I'll get to the slide.
Sorry, apologies. Thank you, Sadiq Bhai. We are sharing the screen again.
You share the screen, but also presentation mode. It needs to be in presentation mode.
This one is shown, updated. Show. This one.
But this is going to the audience.
Is that the updated version? Okay.
Next.
Can you see it now?
Now it's fine.
Thank you, Sadiq Bhai. So sorry about that. As you can see, my technical skills are not that great. So I have already introduced myself, Bushra, Zafreen, Nick, Zahid, and we were speaking about Bilkis Appa, Dr. Bilkis Appara. She was the past secretary and currently a member. And she has also worked effortlessly in terms of the donor network, Bangladesh and overseas. The next is Farhad. He is a member that has joined us last year. And we have Asaduzzaman, who is based in Sydney, and he has been a member for a long time. and he generally tries to connect with the donors in Sydney. Redwan is our US representative, who has done a marvelous job of fundraising from the US. And recently, for the floods in Sylhet, he started a business called Sauce Bros. And what they have done is anyone who actually donates money on PayPal, they could actually get a free slice of pizza from the pizza shop. So that was amazing. Tanzina, again, she is from Minnesota, and she has done a great job as well in terms of fundraising, connecting the US donors. We have Kabir, and he's based in London. Once again, he's connecting with the donors in UK. Marina Islam Bithi, she is in Toronto, and through her, we are also receiving donations from Canada. Next, we have Hassan. Hassan has been a part of the IT subcommittee, and he is all about efficiencies. He has been pushing us to, in terms of having a good website, and he has managed this project, and we will come to that part. And he has done a wonderful job in terms of our website, which is still under construction. Most of it is done, and thank you, Hassan. Next, we have Dr. Nasrin Islam Khan, based in Adelaide, part of our Zakat subcommittee. And she has connected with donors, and the Zakat this year was significant. Reza Karim, based in Sydney, who headed the Zakat subcommittee, has done a brilliant job, and we have had a huge response with Zakat. And finally, we have Iram, the youngest amongst us, based in Sydney, and Iram has also done a fantastic job. So these are, they all are part of the committee, the representatives, and the subcommittees, which we believe would extend in the future. Next, I would like to introduce Dr. Olive Moonlink. We were actually thinking about a special guest. We wanted a special guest who may not be a Bangladeshi or a Bengali, but may have had contributed a lot. And Olive's work with the team in Fred Heights schools is remarkable. And he travels to Bangladesh 2-3 times a year, overseeing 55 schools. And he just came from Bangladesh. So Olive, the floor is yours.
Thanks very much, Borhan. And I sometimes wonder how I handle a management committee of 13. I noticed that you have even greater numbers to handle. So well done, Mr. President. Yes, I've only just returned from Bangladesh, and that was after a 2.5-year break. I was there just before the COVID pandemic hit, and it has been very strange indeed not being able to be over there to attend to the usual duties that we do, because we have, as you probably know, 40 odd schools and 17 kindergartens over there, a staff of 170, and trying to manage a business of this scale externally with very long puppet strings is very, very difficult. And we experienced increasing difficulty during the pandemic in maintaining good systems in place while we were away. We do have a very good local management, and we have a manager based in Dhaka as well. But nevertheless, you know, that ability to be there on the ground has been something that we really, really missed. I was actually quite curious to see how much in 2.5 years Bangladesh had changed, to see whether I could see any sign of development in the nation, because 2.5 years in terms of a very young country, which is only last year celebrated its 50th anniversary, 2.5 years is a substantial chunk of time. And, you know, I'm happy to report that whereas Australia has to some degree stood still and gone backwards during the pandemic, in many senses, Bangladesh has continued to develop. There are definitely signs on the island of Bola, where we work, of improved development, certainly improved internet access, much larger network of electricity now. In that time, there's a significant development of the electrical network. There has been a lot of building activity. Bangladesh reminds me of China in the 1990s, where an extraordinary amount of building activity, almost at the speed with which you can see it taking place. So it just shocked me, the degree of development. But I guess my organisation, like Let's Work for Bangladesh, is focused on the other end of the spectrum. You know, there's an expression that economists like to use and politicians like to use about a rising tide lifts all boats. And the theory is that when the economy improves for everybody, if it's well handled. And look, in practice, I think whether it's in developing countries like Bangladesh or in countries like Australia, there is a degree to which the rich do get richer, and the discrepancy between the top percentiles of the economy and the bottom just stretches further. And to some degree, when you walk around and drive around the villages in which we operate, you see the degree to which there has been no change, and that the poor, particularly the very disadvantaged. So I did spend quite a bit of my time looking, for example, at the families of some of our students who are disabled. And so they're families that were already poor, but have to deal with the management of disabled children while keeping themselves alive. For these families, there is still a long way to go in Bangladesh. And meeting some of these families was some of the most humbling and emotional work I've had to do in the 25 odd years that I've been working in relation to Bangladesh. So look, I think that there's a degree with a country that's just celebrated its half century. It's hit that half century mark, which is significant in cricket, and it's significant in global politics as well. There's a lot to celebrate in Bangladesh, but there is a tremendous amount that still needs to be done. And I think that's why having organizations like Let's Work for Bangladesh that operate across a multiple range of, pain points, if you like, in society, where things aren't going well, helping the very unfortunate, dealing with emergency services to the people who often fall through the cracks. I think that Let's Work for Bangladesh's work, including with our organization where it supports one of our 40 schools and one of our kindergartens, and also, I have to say, provides support to us in many other ways. That work is still completely essential. There may be a view in Dhaka at parts of the government to say that, we are well on the way to hitting marks in the international arena where we're no longer at LDC, we're going to become a rapidly developing economy, and all the sorts of great buzz phrases you hear in terms of economics. Down on the ground, we still need you. We still need Let's Work for Bangladesh and organizations like Fred Hyde Schools. And we need to stay motivated and alert, because there is a long way to go. And let me just conclude by saying how much I appreciate the work that you do. And I do have a special word to say to your president, Borhan, who is, in addition to his work with your organization, he is very much a right-hand man for me. And without his support, doing the work I do over there would be very difficult indeed. So a big thank you to Borhan and the support that the committee gives to Borhan as well, in Let's Work for Bangladesh. Thank you very much, Borhan.
Thank you, Olive. Again, I really appreciate you making time and saying a few words. We would take questions at the end. So I would just quickly have a glance on this, say a few words, and we would go to the Secretary's report. So with Let's Work for Bangladesh, once again, 100% of the funds reach the donors. We are very serious with money. We are very serious about the value of money. All the travel expenses are paid by the members, and we also are open to feedbacks. For example, the idea of the Income Aid project actually came from a donor who is a significant donor of us. And apart from that, we visit all of our projects. Like one of the members, whenever they are in Bangladesh, or a number of our members, they actually visit the projects. And most importantly, we just don't tell an organization that implement this project. We are actually speaking to them on a continuous basis. And sometimes this is also a problem. For example, when we were raising funds for the Hindu minority, and we were on a constant contact with one of the organizations there called Vidyananda, we found out that a lot of money has been received and we put a stop. We gave the donors money back. Another example is when we were doing the oxygen cylinders, someone in Bangladesh bought 1,000 cylinders and there was absolute shortage. And the stress that we had to take, because the money has already gone to Bangladesh, and if the project didn't work, we have had to refund the money. But eventually we were very lucky. We could source the cylinders at the price we wanted, and we worked very hands-on with our charity partners. So on that note, I would go to the next slide to Zafrin.
Dear distinguished guests, donors, community members, and Let's Work for Bangladesh committee members, a very warm welcome to you all to our 13th AGM today. It is an honor for us to have you all present today, some physically and some over Zoom. That's the new way to go. So as you are aware, Let's Work for Bangladesh is based in Canberra, was started in Canberra, and we have been working for over 13 years now, trying to make a difference for lives of people both in Bangladesh and in Australia. Due to COVID, over the last 2.5 years, our presence in the community or events we've held has actually reduced significantly. However, COVID has given us the opportunity to help more people, not only in Bangladesh, but also in Australia. And as our president mentioned, over the last 2 years, our donor base has increased, and we have now representatives at a few countries over the world who are helping us to raise funds and make a difference for more number of people in Bangladesh. And the president also mentioned that over the last financial year, we have formally have our subcommittees, the IT subcommittee and Zakat subcommittee, who are helping us to increase our reach and be more efficient. So I just want to talk about the activities that we have done over the last year. In terms of educational support, most of this has gone to Bangladesh. Over the last 10 years, just like similar years, we have raised funds for the Bangladesh Canberra Friendship School in Bangladesh. And our target for this year was $10,500, which we unfortunately could not meet. We raised $9,000, but the rest was done through whatever reserve we have. Another milestone for us is that we have signed an MOU with Gramin Shikha in Bangladesh, through which we have sponsored 20 HSC and undergraduate students in Bangladesh. We have done distressed children sponsorship in Bangladesh, and similarly we have done the same for one. We have sponsored one child, and there have also been 9 other undergraduate students who we have sponsored during the last financial year. We have also done some other bits and pieces, like we have bought a laptop for a vision impaired student of Dhaka University, and we have bought books for some really poor students of Khulna University who could not afford these expenses. So as our president mentioned, we did some emergency support during COVID and for some other emergency events that happened in Bangladesh. During COVID, around August last year, there was a serious shortage of oxygen cylinders, and LWFB Bangladesh donated some money. And through our partner, Universal Amity, our partner in Bangladesh, we were able to create an oxygen bank with 65 cylinders. And as you can see on the slide, we had $12,000 from Australia, 1,500 US, and about 100,000, more than 100,000 was raised in Bangladesh as well to fund for this project. A lot of you might be aware that winter can be very harsh in Bangladesh, especially in the northern areas where winter is more harsh and people are more poor. So this year, similar to last year, we did a winter care project where we supported 3,235 families by buying warm winter blankets for them and distributing them. During June 2022, Sylhet had a major flood, and a lot of people were affected during that flood. And we decided to again do whatever we could to help the people in those flood affected areas. So a total of 200,000 taka was donated to Bangladesh, and we used 2 of our partners in Bangladesh, Alhaj Shamsul Haq Foundation and Universal Amity, to implement those projects there. And a lot of you might be aware that there was a fire in a depot in Sitakundo recently, about 2 months back. So again, we helped with 1,500 Australian dollars to provide medical and food supplies and financial help for those affected in the fire. Sustenance Project is something we've been working on over the last couple of years. Income Aid is one such project. As you can see on the table, we bought some vans, helped set up a tea stall, bought sewing machine, helped set up a grocery shop, 9 grocery shops, and one furniture shop for some poor people who were looking for a way of getting out of the poverty and trying to be sustainable for themselves. We have also been doing tube wells across the country in poor areas where people have to travel miles to get access to clean water. So we have done a total of 31 tube wells over the years. Some deep, some shallow. And we have also given wheelchairs to some very immobile people who needed that support to get around and get about their day-to-day lives. During Ramadan, because of COVID, the people in Bangladesh struggle with, especially with food. So LWFB Bangladesh, along with our Bangladesh partner Universal Amity, did a project to support 599 families with some basic food package and some common items for Ramadan. A generous donor gave donation of almost 700,000 taka for feeding 177 children at an orphanage for the entire month of Ramadan for 2 meals per day and also on Eid day. And food package was donated by another donor in Bangladesh, which helped 100 families to get some special food for Eid. 13 shares of Qurbani were also given to remote areas of Bangladesh during Eid al-Adha last year, 2021, and the meat distributed to the people through universal amity. We have increased our, we have tried to help more people through Zakat over the last couple of years. And one of the main projects we do for Zakat is providing prosthetic limbs for amputee patients. This year, the total amount raised through Zakat for prosthetics was almost 1.5 million taka. And that was used to provide prosthetic limbs for about 90 to 100 patients at TMSS hospital in Bogora in Bangladesh. And about 1,700 Australian dollar was also raised for Zakat purpose and used for various small projects in Bangladesh. Our main work over the years has been in Bangladesh, but since we're based in Canberra, how can we forget our home here in Australia? So whenever there was a crisis in Australia, Let's Work for Bangladesh did not sit back and watch. Our members, we always feel that we also have to give back to where we belong now. So this year was no different. We raised some money and we gave about $515 to Canberra Hospital Foundation on Can Give Day. During COVID, there was and during COVID lockdown last year, from July to October, some people actually struggled with food shortage, and Let's Work for Bangladesh gave some donation to Oz Harvest, through which some food donation was given to the people who needed that. And as I'm sure all of you are aware that there was massive flood in Queensland and southern Queensland and northern New South Wales this year. And Red Cross was doing some work in those flood affected areas. So we donated $250 to help set up an evacuation center through Red Cross. I'm just going to, before our treasurer comes in, I'm just quickly going to talk about some figures, the total funds we have raised over the years, but Zahid Bhai is much better at doing that. That's his job than mine. But I'm just quickly going to talk about some figures about the total money we have raised in Australia during the last financial year. That equates to $68,300 in Australian dollars, which is approximately 4 million taka. And this is only funds raised in Australia. And as our president just mentioned, and I also mentioned that we're doing fundraising in US, UK, Malaysia. We're getting funds from different places. So the total fundraised during the year equated to almost 160,000 Australian dollars. And that is about 9.9 million in taka. So this year has been an exceptional year for us, and that was only possible because of the help of donors. And that is a significant achievement, I would say. At least that's what I feel personally, because we almost raised 1 crore taka. And I think we should put a pat on the back for everyone, not only the members, but also definitely the donors. So, but because we are based here, we have to trust a lot of people in Bangladesh, especially our partners who are doing the projects, implementing the projects. However, having said that, as members, especially our president, we try not, we don't leave any leaves turn. to make sure that it's going to the right hands in Bangladesh, and we are using our donors' money efficiently. With that, I would thank you all again for being here, and I would like to finish from my side, and I will hand it over to our treasurer, Mr. Zahid Ali Khan, and he can talk about some numbers. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Zahid. I'm the treasurer of Let's Work for Bangladesh. This is my second year, so still new. What we have done in the last financial year is we have raised $68,355 in Australia, which we have given to various projects. The major projects which I'm highlighting is the student scholarship, around $7,200 something dollars. Oxygen cylinder, $11,882. Ramadan food package, $15,509, which was the highest. Thank you so much to the donors. Winter blanket, $7,600 something dollars. Prosthetics, $13,500 something dollars as well. These were the major projects, and we had some other small projects as well. So the money expense, that is, we donated total is $69,407. And again, the major projects were oxygen cylinder, student sponsorship, funds in Australia like Can Give, also Harvest, Red Crescent, Ramadan food package, prosthetics, all these and others. So the profit and loss for the financial year is we are loss of $1,052, which is not a shock, so which is very good that we spent more than what we have earned. And thanks because we didn't raise money for the Australian donations. So what we have done is we have given through our expense account, which we had some money through recycling bottles. What we do, we sell, we had some money from the food stalls and others. So we have given those money to the Australian donations. So what we do is we don't keep any money left in our account. So we donate everywhere, wherever we can. The major thing that I want to highlight, apart from the donors donate always, thank you so much. But the Let's Work for Bangladesh team members like executive committees, Zakat subcommittees, IT subcommittee, representatives from USA, Canada, UK, and others, they have donated $14,133 in the last fiscal year, which is a very big amount as well. So thank you to everyone. And that's the numbers from me. So the next one goes to the president, back to the president again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Zahid. So I know it's an AGM and we have non-members here as well. But what I would like to quickly do is firstly, I would like to quickly ask if anyone has any questions with the financials, because we would move the motion in terms of the financials. I welcome any questions on the financials if anyone has anything.
I've got a question. All of us are here because for education. only of Indian market is very commendable.
So Manil bhai, sorry, I would just interrupt for 1 second. We would come back to the questions, but this is only for the financials.
All right.
Yeah, we just moved that and we'll come back to the questions. Sorry for that. Any questions, anyone? Biplab bhai, is there anything online? No, okay. All right, anyone, any of the members, Let's Work for Bangladesh members want to move the motion for the financials?
I am.
Okay, Zafrin is moving. All those in favor? Anyone who wants to second? Okay, Shafi. Anyone not in favor? Any members not in favor? Okay, motion carried. So in terms of Zafrin, with your the last year's secretary's report was sent to everyone.
AGM. minutes.
And the AGM meeting minutes, which we also quickly need to pass. I would like to ask if anyone actually has read it. And
Yes.
you have read it?
Yes.
Zahid, okay. Any members have any questions on the last year's AGM meeting minutes, which was actually very, very comprehensive. And this is one of the selling tools we were actually selling to our donors so that they can get a very quick snapshot on what was achieved. Any questions? Biplab, anything online? No, okay. Anyone wants to move, propose?
I propose.
You're the, oh, okay, so, yeah. So Zahid is, Zahid proposed. Anyone wants to second? Okay, Farhad. Anyone not in favor? Okay, motion carried. So thank you to Zafrin and Zahid. I would just add one thing with Zafrin's report, that is our due diligence on the partners. You won't believe the level we go to. We'll just give you an example. And today we have Universal Amity in here. So whenever a project is discussed, you know, it comes to us. And then if we have any suggestions, we bounce the ideas. But just to give you an example, when we did the Ramadan food project, and this is with all our projects, to get oil prices were very high in Bangladesh. And at that time, they went to a factory which actually makes oil. And that's how they saved the cost of, you know, oil within that package. Then they went to the villages to buy the onions and the garlic. And this is how the cost saving is done. They don't buy things in bulk because it's more expensive. So they buy all of this and then they package themselves. They are volunteers. So that's actually how we work. And this provides a lot of cost savings. And to us, at the end of the day, it's all value for the donors' money and how we do. So now I would come to the next slide, which is the future fundraising. So in the future, so what has happened is with Zahid, this was a challenge. Like he was issuing receipts and receipts and receipts, and God knows how we did that. And I used to go and look into the sentence sometimes, and this is done today, and I'm like surprised. Like a donation was received at 7 p.m. Maybe a receipt is going at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. So this has all become very challenging. And in the future, what will happen is the fundraising will go on to our website. So you paid on the website, you get a auto-generated receipt. And the wonderful, wonderful gentleman who has not only donated $1,000 for this website in monetary term, but has spent hours and hours and hours. You can go to letsworkforbangladesh.org. And the name of this wonderful gentleman who wanted to do something for Bangladesh and has done this website for us, it's Mr. Haq Mahmood, who is the co-founder of One Consultant. And Mr. Haq Mahmood, do you want to say something like in 10-20 seconds, please? You can unmute yourself.
Burhan bhai, can you hear me?
Yes, very clear.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me for these meetings. Even I'm not a member, but yeah, thanks again. And also thank you, especially Burhan bhai, that you came to me and approached me, you know, and Hassan bhai where to create something online, something, automated payment systems. So, and then I was very privileged, and I'm very happy that I've done something for Let's Work for Bangladesh. And this is small things for me, but it's huge things for, for poor people in Bangladesh who needs the most. So yeah, I'm from Sydney, and as a Bangladeshi, I think I need to contribute. I'm living in a great country where everything's so easy, and money is not issue here. So as a Bangladeshi, I was thinking to contribute something, and then there was opportunity, and I'm very glad that I've done this website. And then not only that, I finished that website, but in the future, anything that I can update, anything that I can do automation, that people can globally contribute instantly money, and then receive money, and then send money straight into Bangladesh or in other countries that people need most. Yeah. So that was me. Thanks for having me, and especially thank you, Burhan Bhai, and thank you all.
Thank you so much, Haq Mahmood Bhai. I also have to mention my friend Hassan Mahmood, who actually bought Haq Bhai's details. And Hassan actually also spent hours and hours of his time while managing this project. He told me that he sometimes get up at 2 a.m. at night, and he's thinking about how how the website can be more streamlined. So you can all, whenever you have a chance, you can go to the Let's Work for Bangladesh website and have a quick look. I love the colors and everything, Haq Mahmood Bhai, and so did the EC. And thank you so much once again.
Thank you, Burhan Bhai. And once again, anytime in the near future, you can just knock me and call me, and I'll do as a contribute, not for money, for free.
Thank you. So anyone who are online and here, if they want to support one consultant, that would be greatly appreciated. They have done a brilliant job. Thank you, Haq Bhai.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So finally, how can you help? We would request you to consider us for a part of your zakat. Those of you who are on our email list, you would see the details that in terms of reporting we provide. You can compare that with the other organizations. Share your details with your family and friends. The way Let's Work for Bangladesh has raised the amount last financial year was only because of the donors sharing our details and connecting other people with us. Spread us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, there are a number of them. Donate your birthday or any special occasion through making a donation. Become a volunteer. We are actually looking for the youngsters, and this is one of the probably challenges that we will face, but we are working on that. Making monthly or yearly pledges. That helps, really helps. And finally, leave a donation in your will. I think we are at the end of our presentation, and we would go to the question sessions. And before that, I would like to thank the organizations, Arab Gallery, Spondon, Shurodhoni, Cooperation in Development Australia, ATN, SOS Bros, AMP Foundation, Canberra Islamic Center, Southwest Muslim Association in Sydney, Bangladesh Australia Association, Canberra. And once again, I thank everyone, and I would go into questions, and Moinul Haq, the ambassador for the ACT Multicultural Affair, had a question. Moinul Bhai.
No, rather a comment of clarification.
Yeah.
The expenditure allocation.
Yeah.
Education sector, scholarship sector has the lowest allocation. Also, according education is the number of priorities, and you get the lowest allocation.
So, and Zafrin and Zahid and any of the members of our team, you can join in. So basically what we have found the donations we received actually depends on the interest of the donors. And what we have found out is the highest donations we have received was for the Ramadan Food Project.
Zakat and
Ramadan. Education, for some reason.
I think it's COVID. Last year.
Yeah, it was COVID, but I think for some reason when people look into education, they think that they should actually donate more for the basic needs rather than education, which has a long-term effect. And at the end of the day, we do the best marketing we can. As Zafrin has mentioned, we have signed an MOU with Gramin Shikha. The reason being is we actually get people from the very, very root areas, from the outskirts of Dhaka, from the very remote areas. And you won't believe, for example, there were the most bright students, like we had three, their parents are day laborers and they couldn't afford education at all. So that's why we do it through Gramin, because we have a lot of information on the applicants. And unfortunately, you're right that I think this was in category 3, probably from the top end,
Yeah.
right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So we had Ramadan Food Project, then we had oxygen cylinder, and this one, we had prosthetics, which is also making a remarkable difference. But education was sort of in the 4th line in terms of the fundraising.
I just want to quickly add
Yeah, sure.
that because of COVID, and because most of our donors are based outside of Bangladesh, I think food is a basic thing. So everyone wanted, when we did the Ramadan packages, everyone wanted to contribute for the food. The next thing, prosthetics came from Zakat. So our actual fundraising was for Zakat during Ramadan. And again, a lot of migrants who are outside of Bangladesh, they were more interested to donate for prosthetics through Zakat. With education, what happens is some of the students we sponsor are Hindus. So you cannot actually give Zakat money for Hindus. That's one. And I think the other thing is, when you make a commitment for education, it's either HSC, which is 2 years, or undergraduate, which is 4 years. So it really depends on whether the donor is happy to make that commitment for 4 years, especially with undergrad students. Like, for example, I spoke about this vision impaired student at Dhaka University. So who we are funding, so he's actually going through our scholarship as well. But the donor generally has to have the 4-year commitment. Otherwise, if they only make a commitment for, say, 2 years, what's going to happen for the other 2 years for the student to finish his studies? So as the president mentioned, it is determined often, especially with education, it's driven by the donors.
Yeah, that's good clarification, but perhaps in future, you could consider when you're running Ramadan Eid, that you would also like to provide scholarship for the English students through your Zakat money.
Yes.
This is allowed,
Yeah, absolutely.
right? And you can sell the benefit of the education. One of the big factors
Yeah,
education is
absolutely.
the key out of it.
So to one point on that, Manubhai, with the scholarship, a lot of that money was also Zakat that we actually
Glad that you
got that.
know it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Any online questions? Any questions from online? Feel free to unmute yourself if you have any questions, or any questions from the audience.
Yeah, I have a question actually, Bijoy, and this is more a clarification from Zafrin. So you said, did you say that Zakat money cannot be given to non-Muslims?
Often the donors choose not to. They will say that I don't want to sponsor. Often the donors say that I don't want to sponsor a Hindu student. We have seen cases like that.
Okay. I find that very distressing. And in this day and age, I think this is shocking. But I mean,
yes,
it's
but
their
like
money.
I said, we have seen it is.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Yes.
That's all right. There's nothing in the rules themselves. It's individuals who say
Yeah,
that they want to
absolutely.
be
Yes.
racist or sectarian. Okay, all right. Thank you.
Yeah, so Sadiq Bhai, in terms of the donors, they actually choose like what they want, as you probably have seen with whenever we do fundraising and stuff like that, we actually give them the choice. Even in terms of the students for scholarships, we actually send the list and say select. We try not to select it ourselves. In rare cases where they say nah, you guys do it, we do it. But our preference is always let the donor choose, because it's their money. Thank you for the question.
Well, I do actually have a follow-up now. So if this was in an Australian context,
Yep.
and the donor said, I don't want to give it to brown people, I don't think any charity would accept that sort of donation. I mean, it's a question of whether we continue to encourage this sort of behavior by accepting this. But anyway, it's not my call.
Yeah.
But I think that's maybe something we should think about.
So Sadiq, at the end of the day, it's with Let's Work for Bangladesh, our motto is to connect the donors with the recipients over there as per their choice. Now, if someone from a very different religion comes us and tells us that we want this to be done, if we can find partners and we can sort of assure, like we have the assurance that the money will be well spent, whatever project that is, they can actually do that. And we are very happy to do that, because at the end of the day, any needs over there, if we can help, and the money has to be spent, in the right way. There has to be that value for money. Our preference generally is no admin costs. We will do that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think you're doing a fantastic job. It's the edges I worry about. But anyway, okay, fine.
Yeah.
I'll keep quiet now.
Yeah, no, thank you for the questions, Sadiq. Anything else? Any online questions?
So just a question from me. So I'm Mohammed Iqbal from Southwest Muslim Association. So not so much a question, but
welcome.
Yeah.
I would like to say for our audience that Mohammed Iqbal is the president of Southwest Muslim Association, has been a tremendous supporter of Let's Work for Bangladesh, and we received more than $6,000 only for the prosthetics cause, apart from the other donations. Yes, Mohammed Iqbal.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say thank you for the invite to the AGM, as well as thank you for all the hard work that your organization does, and the fact that today in the AGM you covered through the due diligence that you do on the partners on the ground. We rely on that. The fact that you have found trustworthy partners in Bangladesh means we can reliably tell our donors that the money is going to a good cause. I think previously you had a question around why there's less money being spent on education and more on the other items. I think from our donors, we're also getting that they like discrete projects. So stuff like your oxygen tanks, where $280 will get you a tank, or X dollars will get you a prosthetic limb. People like that, as opposed to an education, which is a much longer, broader commitment.
Yeah, no, thanks for adding that. And thank you for joining today. We really appreciate the help, the donations from SWMA. Any other questions? All right. Thank you, everyone, from behalf of all of us, and really appreciate what we have done was only possible because of our donors, because of the trust. And one thing we can tell you is that we also like to acknowledge all our spouses in this team, because we are all sort of under pressure. Olav is lucky in that way that he doesn't have that sort of pressure, but we have tremendous pressure. And I can tell you that when the fundraising happens, many of us have to spend 2 to 3 hours every single day. It's not easy. And because we want to be very transparent, accountable, and have the right value of money, we put a lot in. So on that note, thank you, everyone. It has been a tremendous year for us. The figure of 99 lakhs taka worth of work done in Bangladesh. And I also have to note 2 lakhs of taka is unallocated because the donor didn't select the projects, which was around 158,000 Australian dollars for the last financial year, the work that has been done. And thank you all so much for the work. We would hope that in the future, this support would continue and we can make better and bigger differences in Bangladesh. Thank you. And we would hear from you, all of you. And please don't feel free to provide any feedback over email or anything like that. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Borhan, and everybody.
And sorry, one other thing before I finish. Sorry, the AGM is over. One other thing before I finish is I have a very small present. And by the way, this doesn't have any approval from the EC. I would like to hand over again, which again is not from the administrative fund, to the outstanding treasurer Zahid Ali Khan, and Lutfi Bhai and Manu Bhai, if you like to hand this, both of you would hand this over to Zahid, that would be much appreciated. The both of you, please. Because he has been amazing and it wouldn't have been possible without Zahid. Sorry, we just those still online. This wasn't approved by EC. This is from my personal funds, but we gave a very small token of appreciation to Zahid Ali Khan, the treasurer, who has done a, I don't know, outstanding job or a brilliant job. Without his help, probably I would have turned up at hospital or something like that, because he completely took care of all the receiving and everything. And this means the money in Bangladesh and the money overseas. So thank you very much. I can also see Mohammad Nasruddin from Al-Haj Shamsullah Foundation, who has joined in. So we are at the last, we are just finishing off the AGM, and we thank you all for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you.